Hey everybody out there in YouTube land, and welcome to another Dark Avengers comic book review. Actually, this review is a week overdue due to the fact that I'm sick, but thank God, feeling a lot better now. Unfortunately though, Mike is having allergy problems.
But hello.
Amber is now sick, but she has no comic books this week, or in this week's stack, or in this week as in this week's current stack. So she's sitting out, she's relaxing, watching a movie. And hopefully she'll be feeling better by next week. Anyway, comic books in this episode. I'm doing a double episode power, however long it takes to get these two episodes done, night, where I'm going to be doing both weeks straight and uploading both weeks, one right after the other. So you're getting two episodes this weekend instead of one to catch us all up to date with what's going on in comic books. No news in this episode. There will be news in this week's episode. So, going right into the comic books. Boom Studios, number 8 of The Traveler. I'm still enjoying The Traveler a lot. In this episode, The Traveler and Avengers have their actual, you see the actual first fight between The Traveler and Avengers. Avengers basically captures The Traveler and hooks him up to this machine that creates, I forget, Julia through the Traveler's memories. But Davi shows up to save the Traveler. It turns out this was all like his plan. Like he knew that once Avengers got what he wanted, his guard would go down. So Davi shows up and saves the day. And then they trap Avengers in some type of a stasis where he's seeing Julia and Ronald, who's the Traveler, saying I love you to each other over and over and over again, so it's kind of like his own little prison. Davi unfortunately stays behind because she has to deal with all of Avengers' prisoners, and the Traveler goes back to Earth with his friend. Unfortunately, when his friend mentions Julia, he no longer remembers her, and that's where they leave you off. I think this was a very good issue. I'm enjoying all 3 issues of the Stan Lee run, which is the Traveler, Soldier Zero, and Starborn. Unfortunately though, I did see a listing of sales recently, and these three comic books are doing pretty they're pretty low on the listings, and I have no idea why. They're very good. The only problem is, I guess, it's because it's not in the main 2, that the big 2, that's not doing so well. But I'm telling you guys, these 3 books are really good. It's not something you want to miss out on. But anyway, going into the big 2 now. We have 2 books that came out in the Ultimate Universe this week. First, my final issue of Ultimate Spider-Man. The death happens here in number 160. Pete dies. There's a huge blowout fight between him and Norman Osborn. I know you're shaking your head, Mike. I agree. And in the end, there's a huge explosion. I don't want to give away the entire book. We all knew it was going to be the death of Peter Parker. That's the only reason why I'm saying that. And in the end, to protect his family and the people he loves, he dies. And Norman Osborn, whom everybody thinks is dead, turns out he's not really dead. There's a new Ultimate Spider-Man. That's a new Spider-Man in this Ultimate Universe that will be coming out. We don't know who it is. The story arc is gonna start in 161. I will not be sticking around long enough to find out who. My prediction though is it's either going to be his clone, the female clone, or, which it most likely is the female clone, because I'm thinking this is the Ultimate Universe. They like to screw things around a bit, so they'll call her Patricia Parker or whatnot. Or it's Johnny Storm or Bobby. I don't think it's Johnny Storm or Bobby, to be honest with you. So I don't know who the new Spider-Man's going to be. I don't like the new costume. I'm not interested in the Ultimate Universe. This is my final Ultimate Spider-Man. It was an awesome 160 issues, but after 160 issues, I'm saying, for the sake of the series, and to go out on a pretty high note, I'm dropping it. The other thing that came in this week that I really didn't give a shit about, I'm just throwing it out there, Avengers vs. New Ultimates, number 5 of 6. The only reason I'm getting number 6 is because it is the fallout from Ultimate Spider-Man, his death. And then that's it for the Ultimate Universe permanently for me. I think there's going to be a one-shot, which is like getting over Peter Parker's death and moving forward. I might get that, might not. I basically got what I needed, you know, a perfect period, but I might get the moving on just for the just to completely wrap it up. Silver Surfer Part 5 of 5 ended awesomely. In the end, Silver Surfer becomes Galactus's herald again, and that's basically what saves the girl he loves, life, and she becomes human again. He becomes Silver Surfer again, and basically that's the whole issue summed up for you. Artwork was amazing. In the Ultimate Universe, the artwork also was amazing. But this series seemed like it got from point A to point B within these 5 issues pretty fast. Seems like a very, you know, if you look at it from a, like if you got this as a trade paperback, I'll be honest with you, you'll get from beginning to end in less than a half hour. This story was pretty speedy, you know, got right to the point. There was no real substance to it. In my opinion, this Silver Surfer mini at least had no, I don't know, it just feels like the whole story rushed right past me, and really, the end of the last issue, the end of the first issue, yes, there was 3 issues in between, but it feels like those 3 issues could have been 1 issue, and this was the 3rd part, and that was it. I really feel like this series was very short, and it should have been longer, and the story should have had a little bit more substance to it. In full, I would say this is kind of a miss. Unless you're a die-hard Silver Surfer fan, then definitely pick it up. But if you're not a die-hard Silver Surfer fan, save your money for the 5 books and the trade paperback. Wolverine number 11 was the top from Marvel this week. Wolverine, basically, it's another person from who crossed paths with Wolverine. Her father was killed. We are made to believe by Wolverine. He is now working for the Weapon X program at this time because Creed, which is all we also all know as Sabretooth, is in it. And Creed basically, there's a very interesting scene with Creed, but in the end, basically Wolverine stops Creed and they leave, but the girl knows that Wolverine killed her father, and that's because the guy was getting very close to Wolverine's identity. So after that flashback, Wolverine ends up killing the second person, and he's still saying, "I'm still coming after all of you." And then in the very end, they find the new member of the Red Right Hand. I want to make sure I say it right. Yes. It turns out the newest member turns out to be Dawkins, which is Wolverine's son. In the past, though, this is way in the past, and he's telling the guy that's running the program how exactly he can he can destroy Wolverine forever. He's like, I'm the man that's going to make all your dreams come true. And that's where they leave you off. And I guess the next issue is going to show how Dawkins helps the Red Right Hand figure out how to get to Wolverine finally and hurt him. So don't forget though, that did take place in the past, not in the present, where for some weird reason now even Wolverine's son is some type of an anti-hero. So this was the best issue out of Marvel this week. I'm loving Wolverine anyway. I've always loved Wolverine as far as DC Marvel characters go. So I'm enjoying this new Wolverine series. I'd absolutely say pick it up. Artwork is also amazing. Jumping into DC, I'm throwing these out there. I'm not reviewing them. Kid Flash Lost, number 1 of 3. I will most likely be picking up the other 2 issues of this. You don't have to zoom in really, Mike, because I'm going to be throwing... Well, you know, yeah, you could go ahead and do that, but you already backed out of this one. Won't be picking it up. I got the pins for that. Unfortunately, I already stuck my pins together on this, so I'll just stick this out in front like that, and you guys can see. First of all, I did get my Frankenstein pin finally, and the creatures of whatever. This was the one you get for Kid Flash Lost. This I will not be picking up. This was a misadvertisement in I believe they said this was a one-shot, and all of a sudden it's a part 1 of 3, the Reverse Flash. It's the whole origin of the Reverse Flash for like the 51st time that they've been doing this. So that's 1. I'm not picking up the other 2 issues of that. Lois Lane and the Resistance, however, I will be picking up the rest of, because it's Lois Lane. And with that one you get this pin. And finally, FlashPoint The Outsiders, which comes with this pin. And when Mike's done doing that, I'll show you the pin it comes with, and that's this pin. There. And then this week, of course, the last two issues with pins came out. We'll get to those in the next episode. Also, they came out this week. Brightest Day Aftermath, The Search for Swamp Thing, 1 of 3. Now, on CBR.com, this got 0 stars. And I'm led to believe that that was a pretty decent rating. This story basically has nothing to do with anything. John Constantine basically wants to find Swamp Thing and enlists Batman to try to help him. They go through some type of astrological plane, and Swamp Thing basically hurts him, and Zatanna brings him back, and that's basically the whole gist of the story. The artwork is pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, the artwork is pretty good. But yeah, I'll show you guys what Swamp Thing did to John Constantine once we get past this listing. Yeah, and then they leave it there, and then basically Zatanna. Zatanna somehow saves him, brings him back, and basically it turns out that Alec Holland is not part of Swamp Thing because he shows up at the very end of the issue. So my basic prediction to this 3-part series is by the 3rd part, Alec Holland and Swamp Thing are either going to merge together permanent, or Alec Holland is somehow going to learn how to control Swamp Thing. I don't even know. Only reason I'm getting this is because it's a Brightest Day Aftermath thing, and then that's it. It drops Brightest Day permanently. Unfortunately, it's not even really going to matter anymore because the reboot in September is going to change everything. However, I'll leave that for the news, actually. Also, the cover did change. Zatanna was supposed to be Hawkman, and Dick Grayson Batman was supposed to be Bruce Wayne Batman. Why they changed it on the cover last moment, I have no idea. Now, the 2 best from this week in DC. Superman 712, which was a last-minute change. Originally, it was supposed to be about a new superhero that was going to be introduced into the DC universe, an Arabic, I believe it was supposed to be an Arabic superhero, which turns out it didn't go well with DC or something, so they decided to skip it. And continue with Grounded next month. So they threw out the Crypto issue that never came to be 2 years ago. In this issue, basically, it takes place after Infinite Crisis when Superboy, not Infinite Crisis, I forgot when, but it takes place right after Superboy died, and Crypto's waiting for Superboy to come home, and Superman is also missing at this time. So, Crypto is having flashbacks of being with Superboy and Superman, and he can't find Superboy anywhere. Like, he's having flashbacks, he's following Superboy scent all around, and he gets to the final point where Superboy died, and it strikes him very hard, and he leaves Earth for a long time. He doesn't come back, actually, until, I believe, geez, I don't even remember when he came back. He came back years later, right as Superboy came back. But until then, he made a doghouse in the asteroid belt, and he just stayed there. I think he came back in Superman when Superman was attacked by Hercules. I want to say, not Hercules, Athens. I want to say then. He came back in the Superman issue about a year later or so. But either way, this was a very awesome story. I don't know why it took DC Comics 2 years to put this out. It should have been put out when it was advertised. I don't know why they changed their minds last minute and waited till now. This was a refreshing comic. This was a refreshing story in between Grounded, because Grounded is just awful, and unfortunately that's going to be the last thing that this comic sees before its reboot. So another awesome issue. Action Comics 902, classic Superman here. I watched a comic reviewer. I've watched several comic reviewers through the years say, you know, Superman is very cheesy, very, you know, sappy, but you know what? In reality, if you meet somebody on the street who acts like Dawkins, or like, yeah, let's use Dawkins, like acts like Dawkins, and then you meet somebody else who acts like Superman, your life is on the line. Who are you going to trust? Superman's always had this specific nature to him. Take it or leave it, and a lot of people unfortunately have been leaving it. That's understandable. This reboot is supposedly supposed to change Superman a lot, and I'm very, very edgy on that, because Superman has been my favorite character. I'm a diehard Superman fan. I'm very scared what they're going to do to Superman, but over the past few weeks I've been just learning to just deal with the fact that this reboot's going to happen whether everybody wants it to or not. I'm just praying it doesn't impact my hero as much as it's going to impact everybody else. I'm just hoping the impact is very short, sweet, really doesn't hurt that much of the mythology when it comes to Superman. Even though everybody, and I agree with everybody, within less than a year or two it's going to just jump right back to this universe because the other universe is going to be an epic fail, and DC Comics is going to realize that just sticking with the old and trying to fix it is much better than changing to the new. And I'm leaving it there, and I'm going to go into this comic now. Superman tells the Doomslayer wants to kill Doomsday once and for all, and Superman says no, you can't do that, and he actually protects Doomsday, which is why on the cover it says Doomsday's Defender. And basically the Doomslayer says we must eradicate the people who have been trying to copy Doomsday. So basically his ship is going to crash into Earth and destroy it. So Superman, Steel figures out how to leave the ship, and they all leave the ship, and Superman and the others try to slow it down from crashing. So the Doomslayer actually changes his plans instead, and Superman actually ends up preventing the ship from crashing, but he disappears for the rest of the issue until the last few pages. And it's up to Superboy, Supergirl, and Steel to stop. Basically, Superman crashes the ship in the ocean, but it causes a major tsunami, and it's up to the three of them to stop the tsunami. No spoiler, of course they do, and Superman shows up, but then it turns out the Doomslayer's back, and he releases the 4 Doomsdays. There's only actually 3 in the picture, so I'm going to say 3 until I see the 4th again. He releases the 3 Doomsdays on the Earth, and he says, he says, and I quote, "Let the people, those who keep recreating Doomsday will be destroyed by Doomsday," and it's left off there. Artwork is awesome. By the way, if you guys have not noticed, I did get, once again, the variant cover by John Bogdanoff. They're using all the artists that worked on the original Superman, The Death of Superman, back in 1993 to do the covers for the Reign of Doomsday. What better way to send off Action Comics before it's rebooted than put in the best artists, in my opinion, in the 90s. I'm looking forward to the next issue and what variant cover they're going to use. I just regret that Action Comics is not going to get to see its 1000th issue, or maybe it will when it reaches 1,000. Maybe they'll put it back to its original numbering. Same with Superman and everything else. So this week you got these 3 pins. I already put them on my temporary cloth. I'm going to be getting something else. So you get the Outsiders, Kid Flash Lost, and Lois Lane and the Resistance. That's from this week. Get rid of that. And by the way, this is the full, I'm showing you guys this full collection now because I will not be showing it in the next part. The last 2 pins will be in the next part. Okay, let's go through these. Action Comics 902 is an absolute grab. I'm enjoying it. As cheesy as people think Superman is, he's still awesome. Superman 712, a refreshing breather from Grounded. This is not Grounded. It's a Crypto main story. I loved it. It was heartfelt and should have been felt way back when it was originally slated. Swamp Thing, Brightest Day Aftermath is a definite skip unless you want to complete your Brightest Day series. That's why I'm buying it. It is just stupid. FlashPoint The Outsiders #1. I will not be. I'm just going to tell you guys if I'm getting it again or not. I will not be getting issue #2. It's up to you guys. Lois Lane and the Resistance I will be getting. It's very interesting. I'm enjoying watching Lois Lane go undercover against the Amazons. The Reverse Flash #1 of 3, I highly doubt I'll be getting #2, but if you guys want the original, the origin story of the Reverse Flash, yet again, even though they're going to be rebooting the DC Universe, go right ahead. Kid Flash Lost, I probably will be getting again because I want to see, because if Kid Flash doesn't get back into the Speed Force, he's basically going to be erased from time, he's going to just disappear. Wolverine 11 is an absolute grab. It was awesome. Silver Surfer 5 of 5. The entire series is a kind of miss unless you're a huge diehard Silver Surfer fan. Avengers vs. New Ultimates #5 unless you're getting it for the death of Superman. The death of Spider-Man. Great, the death of Superman. It's a basic skip. Death of Spider-Man 160 Ultimate Comic. The death of the Ultimate Spider-Man. I'd say it's a checkout. This issue at least was a checkout. Unless you've been getting the full series all along. Other than that, I'd say skip the Ultimate Universe. The Traveler #8, awesome artwork, good story. I'd say check that out all at once. So that's basically this entire week in one episode, in one part. So Not that big of a stack though. I guess that's why. And also, most of the FlashPoint books I'm not reviewing, I'm just throwing them out there. Even though I said I wasn't getting them, only reason I got the first issues was for the pins. A lot of number 2s are not going to be showing up in these reviews, I promise you guys. There are a few number 2s that will though, because the story is good. So I'll see you guys in the next episode, which will be taking place right after this, so stick around. Shirt might change, but it's going to be the same night. So I'll see you guys in the next episode. Take care.